Hey, Taylor Johnson here. If you're listening to this, you've either made a great choice or you've accidentally clicked something while scrolling. Either way, you should stay. This is Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor.
Cody, I've been thinking about, well, first I should say that I've had this idea for Comic Cons coming up. Sometimes I think I forget I got to set up the story first.
Please set it up.
Okay.
I can't do it all.
Oh, first I should say this is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. My name's Dave. Cody's here.
I am.
Also Paul.
You're killing me, Dave.
You've been waiting all morning just to throw that in there.
All morning.
All morning. I am definitely not Smalls.
No.
No one would have ever called me that in my life. So we have this idea for Comic Cons, and I've been toying around with the idea of what's called the 30-second podcasting booth. And the idea is that at Comic Con, you could come and we would set up, we'd have like one of our phones set up on a tripod and a video, and I'd be holding the mic and I would ask you some sort of pop culture question. And then we would splice these videos together from cons and then put them on our social media, and you'd be
a celebrity.
Theoretically a social media celebrity.
Influencer.
Yeah. Depending on your answer, who knows? Could be highly entertaining stuff. But I'm on the lookout for good questions, and that's the setup. So occasionally I find these articles where I think, oh, that would make a great question for people listening to the podcast and people who want to do the 30-second podcast booth. First of all, let us know if that's a good idea.
It's the best idea I've ever heard today.
Thank you very little.
You're welcome.
But then I found this article. It's just this random article about Joel Edgerton. Do you know who Joel Edgerton is?
That's a name.
It's
Uncle Owen.
He's a real guy, man. Joel Edgerton, who's been in movies. He's an actor, 52 years old.
Was he in the Odyssey?
He was not in the Odyssey. You might think that, but he was not. He seems like he'd be a good fit for that, but he was in Warrior. Mm-hmm. People might remember him from that. He was in The Great Gatsby. He was famously the Pharaoh in Exodus, Gods and Kings. If you remember that one.
Yes, I do.
He was in The Stranger. I don't know what that one is. But yeah, he's been in lots of stuff. I feel like he's been in some horror movies, some scary stuff.
He's in Star Wars Episode 2 and 3 and in Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was Uncle Owen.
Yeah, he's Uncle Owen.
He was young Uncle Owen. I forgot all about that. King Arthur. Yeah, some good ones. Some ones you might know. The Green Knight here recently.
All the hits.
So, randomly, EW asked him this question that brought him to my attention. And they wanted to know what posters he'd had on his wall as a kid. And I thought, well, that's a great question to just, because it says a lot about who you were as a kid and like what you thought about when you were growing up and who you looked up to and things like that. So he says, and I don't know if we should believe him, he's 52 years old. So he's 3 years older than me. Well, 2 years older. I don't know. It's my
2 to 3 years older.
It's my birthday today. That should tell you why I'm confused.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Thank you. But he said he had posters on his wall of James Dean. So James Dean, famous actor.
Not Jimmy Dean?
Same guy.
No.
What do you mean? The actor didn't become the sausage guy? No? I just mistakenly believed that those were the same guy this whole time.
Wiener without a cause?
But I wish we had sound effects. Paul, I'm going to need you to stop that. No. James Dean and then Marilyn Monroe. Because, yeah, of course.
Okay.
And so that got me to thinking about like, oh, what did I have on my wall? Now, I was a comic book nerd, and I had a hookup at a comic book shop. And when there was a big storyline coming up, they would have these huge advertisement posters. And so at any given time on my wall, like one whole wall, because it took up almost the whole wall in my room, I had the Death of Superman storyline. More specifically, the 4 fake Supermen who kind of rose up in his absence. They were all on the poster, and that had a storyline to it. I just don't remember what it was. I think it was still Death of Superman. And then at one time, I had the Infinity Gauntlet announcement poster that I totally trashed, and I wished I still had, because that might be worth something.
That my friend James Gunn invented.
I mean, is he trying to trigger me? Like, is he trying to make me throw something at him? That's what I want to know, Paul.
A little bit.
Like, James Gunn was a kid when that comic story came out, so settle down.
He invented it.
But the poster was awesome. It was the first. It had elements of the first cover. The guy who illustrated that, who I forget now, was it George Perez, or was he the writer? I don't know. I get them all. I get names confused, but it was a beautiful poster, and I wish I still had it. And then over the years, I had several other posters who names may start with Jenny and end with McCarthy, or things like that. And so I was just curious, because I was a boy and boys had posters. And so I was just curious maybe of what posters were on your wall growing up.
Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. I also had the Air poster with the banner. It was more of a banner.
For like my early childhood, it was just Chicago Bulls posters.
Just Chicago Bulls posters everywhere. Now,
Dennis Rodman was even on my wall at one point.
Oh, nice. With what color hair?
I feel like it was red.
It was red. So later.
Yes.
Later Bulls Rodman. Because he went at least a year with just the bleach blonde.
Yes.
Like Demolition Man style. Did Leanne allow you to have girl posters on your wall?
There were no girl posters on my wall.
No. Yeah, you grew up in a tighter ship than I did.
Yeah. Also, posters, I feel like they were still a thing, but they were also kind of dying. Especially once the new millennium happened.
Yeah.
And everyone was on the interwebs.
That's true. See, I always forget that you're quite a bit younger than me. You're a millennial, and that's going to serve you well in the discussion we're about to have in our Be Kind Rewind. But yeah, in this discussion, posters were dying. What about you, Paul? Paul, what posters did you have up in your room?
I had a Jordan as well. It was pretty small, though. It came when I sent in for his autograph, and I, of course, got a form letter back, but it had a nice little poster in it.
You got a form letter?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had Star Wars posters, unsurprisingly. Also had a Mega Man poster that had all the Robot Masters.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I feel like I maybe had some Nintendo stuff, because I did have a Nintendo Power subscription, and occasionally those would have posters in them. Did you guys subscribe to magazines, or are you too young for that?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we had to sell magazines, and so my grandparents would always buy, like, one for me, just because they're like, we don't want this magazine, but we'll subscribe to Sports Illustrated or Sports Illustrated Kids for you. And so, like, again, all the posters I had were sports-based. Like, there was no Star Wars, there was no video game posters. It was strictly sports.
Interesting. Side note, when I went to Dallas here a few weeks back, we were right by a Barnes & Noble. Now, I did not go in the Barnes & Noble.
Rookie mistake.
But I passed out the front of it. I walked past the front of it, and I saw a giant magazine rack. And I thought, who's buying those? Are people still buying magazines?
Old people.
I was stunned that they were making them. I'm like, is there enough magazines to fill an entire rack? It's like the Wayne's World problem. I don't even have a magazine, let alone mini magazines. I just thought that was incredible. I was stunned to know that magazines were still being produced.
Vintage.
Yeah.
I guess all the medical offices have to buy them from somewhere.
You remember the one, what was the one for the kids?
Highlights,
yeah. You were quick on that. Nice, Paul.
Oh, yeah, I love that word. item search. They had an item in the picture.
Yeah, they had all the activities in it.
Yep.
I loved the highlights, but I never got it for myself.
Yep.
I was subscribed to growing up World magazine, which was like National Geographic for kids. I had Boy Scout Life, I think, for a while, because I was in Boy Scouts for 2 minutes.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And of course, I was subscribed to Sports Illustrated for a while and Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
me.
Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, yeah.
I was subscribed to Entertainment Weekly in high school.
You and Jackson.
I love me some Entertainment Weekly, man.
Although I swear it was Cosmo that he was subscribed to.
That's a Listbuster throwback.
It is.
If you haven't listened to our last Listbuster episode, we busted a Cosmo list and then busted Jackson's chops.
I was Nintendo Power as well, and the Star Wars Insider.
Oh, man, Nintendo. There was no greater feeling than when that Nintendo Power showed up. Okay. Do you guys want to play a quick round of the movie game?
Bring it on.
Let's do it.
All right. I decided to step it up a little bit here, step up the difficulty, because these are not easy ones. But I am holding in my hands 3 Rotten Tomato profiles for movies. And one's a terrible certified rotten movie, one's mediocre, and one is certified fresh. Paul, which one would you like to try and solve?
Let's do the stupid thing and follow a bad role model like Deadpool. Maximum effort, trash.
Trash. Okay, he's going trash. All right. First Flight, you will get the year and the critic score. This movie came out in 2007 with a 28% critical score.
2007.
As far as trash goes, that's like that's cream of the crop.
Yeah.
That is.
We're post Star Wars. Barely post Harry Potter, I think. Elektra.
Oh, good guess, Elektra. No, that is not it. Level 2, the second build actor is David Cross,
David Cross.
veteran of many things.
Yes.
He has been in some bad movies.
That does. Sorry, Mr. Cross.
I do have a guess now, but I don't have a notepad.
It's not.
You're welcome.
It's not Pirates.
It's
Yeah.
not.
I don't think he was in that.
It's David Cross. You figure it's probably a comedy then.
Pretty good assumption.
Baby Geniuses 2.
That's a nice poll, but no. A level 3 audience score, 64%. Audiences dug it, so you'll just guess another David Cross movie.
I got no more David Cross in my mind. Let's go on.
Can I guess the lead?
Before I give it,
Yeah, can I guess?
is
who
it
the
that
lead-
important? Is that
No.
important that everyone knows that you got it right?
I don't know if I got it right.
You know you got it right. I didn't say anything.
And I'm not sure if he's the lead.
Okay. Did Cody tell him who the top billed actor is?
Jesse McCartney?
No, that is incorrect. He's not the lead of that movie.
Oh.
So you
snap.
may have got the movie right in your notepad, but no, the top billed actor is Jason Lee. Jason Lee. So David Cross, Jason Lee, 28% for a movie that came out in 2007. Audience score 64%.
I'm trying to think what Jason Lee was doing at this time because it's post. It's post. My Name Is Earl. It's too
Yeah.
late. It's too late for like Mallrats or
Oh yeah, far too late.
or even basically any of his Kevin Smith movies. Chasing Amy. I got nothing.
All right, it's time for the blurb. Here's my blurb voice. A wannabe songwriter adopts 3 highly musical and highly mischievous chipmunks.
Oh. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
It is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
It is. So Jesse was Theodore. I thought he was Alvin. My bad.
Man, I forget those movies exist. I do like the 80s movie quite a bit, but man, those live action ones.
Yeah, I never watched live action ones because I'm like, I'm not letting you tear down my childhood like that. I learned my lesson from Michael Bay and Transformers.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Cody, would you like to solve the certified fresh or the mediocre movie?
Let's just go fresh.
Let's go fresh.
So fresh, so clean.
The year and the critic score, it's an 81%, so we're not over the moon for it, but it's certified fresh, and it came out in 2001.
Pirates of the Caribbean. One.
Young adult. He was 10. Or, no, wait, 12.
Yes.
12. It was not Pirates of the Caribbean 1. That's a solid guess. Second
Might
build.
be the right year, that one.
Second build actor Rupert Grint.
Oh. Old Roop.
Does he not know who this is?
I do know who Rupert
okay.
Grint is, but I am now racking my brain. Harry Potter. And
There's not a movie called Harry Potter,
there
sir.
is. And is it the Sorcerer's Stone?
It is Harry Potter
It
and the
is,
Sorcerer's Stone, which I believe that's the beginning of the entire saga.
Yeah.
It
correct?
is.
2001.
So I had the Johnny Depp Rupert Grint film in my head where it's based off Who's Jack the Ripper. But I couldn't come up with the title, and so that's why I paused. And then I'm like, that surely wasn't 81.
Yeah. That was the right one to go with. It was
Yeah.
easier than the other two. And I was secretly hoping we'd go to a tiebreaker because that was going to stump you. It was The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, no. As soon as you said...
The blurb?
No, I assumed that Buffalo Bill is the...
Yeah, but the actor has a name.
Yeah, like you
The
would...
two actors are Aaron Stanford and Kathleen Quinlan.
Oh, so they didn't even have him as the second build?
No, it's the two main people.
He was arguably the second.
It's the people being seen by the hills whom have eyes.
He's the dad.
Oh, that movie's terrible. All right. We saw The Sandlot, and we are doing a Be Kind Rewind on it, this beloved classic, right after this. All right, Cody. There once was a guy. He was my grandfather. He was the chief of police. And he had a podcast. And the guy said there was this guy he was arresting. And he told him, you have to listen to my podcast. And the guy said, for how long? And he said, forever. Forever. Forever, Cody.
You're just pulling my leg.
That's all you got, man.
That is.
We're supposed to riff. That's why it's called a riff.
Oh, you gotta tell me.
Oh, okay. Next time I'll warn you. We are Be Kind Rewinding The Sandlot, which is a big deal
It is
to
a big
people your
deal.
age, Cody. It's a big deal to people my age.
I was going to say, like, our most recent Listbusters episode, there was outrage that The
Yeah.
Sandlot did not make it. And I was with that person on the outrage.
I'm blaming it all on Cody
I am not. I'm
'Cause
blaming it on you.
because he is the one who should have lifted that movie to safety. It doesn't, like, look, this is a Goonies movie for millennials, right? This is the place where it's supposed to hit you. It comes out when I'm a junior in high school. So, like, I'm not.
I feel the Goonies is the Goonies level event of my generation. So
You don't see the similarities, the parallels between why these movies are beloved.
they are both just great movies.
That
With kids.
center around a group of friends who go on adventures
The Sandlot just goes to the Sandlot.
and has adventures
Playing baseball.
and running away from giant dogs and kissing unsuspecting lifeguards at the pool and
Not
trying to
kosher.
retrieve baseballs.
Yes.
But no, it's not kosher. We're going there already. I can't wait for that discussion.
Yep.
I'm most excited about that discussion. We'll just let me pencil that in for what doesn't hold up. So yeah, The Sandlot is 62% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Who is review bombing this?
Yeah, it's worth acknowledging that it was not a critical darling at its release.
Some people would say it is the Citizen Kane of the early 90s.
Would they? Would they say that?
I said it.
Okay. It's 92% audience score for what it's worth. Directed by David Mickey Evans. He actually wrote it, directed it, and he narrates it as adult Scotty Smalls. And I assume that's him at the end.
No, it's not.
It's not. So he hired an actor, but he did his own voice for the narration. That's a weird choice. Why wouldn't he just be the guy? And then he gets a guy that looks nothing like Scotty Smalls, just slaps that goofy hat on him.
That he was supposed to burn?
Yeah, you didn't burn the hat. What gives? You lied. Starring, and we learned this a few weeks ago in the movie game, starring Tom Geary as Scotty Smalls and Mike Vitar as Benny the Jet Rodriguez. They were the first and second build. Patrick Renna as Ham Porter. Chauncey Leopardi as Squints. Marty York as Yeah. Karen Allen as Smalls' mom, way
Yay.
down the list. And Denis Leary as Bill, the stepdad. Or,
Bill's great.
dad.
Yeah.
Bill. And James Earl Jones makes an appearance as Mr. Myrtle. Released 1993, April 7th, 1993. So it turns
2
33.
days after my birthday.
Oh, wow. That's information we didn't need.
It is information you needed.
Cody, I'm going to need you to back off on the birthday front because it's my birthday today and I can't be challenging other people for the spotlight. I need it. Budget, around $7 million. $7 million budget. How do you like that? Made $34.3 million. That's just box office. Probably has made just all the money on DVD sales.
It was in the $5 bin, and I have at least bought 2 copies of it in the $5 bin.
Yeah. It's set in the summer of 1962 in the San Fernando Valley in California. So this is pure summer nostalgia movie. The question being is whether you saw it as a kid or you discovered it later. For me, it hits me, like I said, in 1993. I am certain I did not see this in the theater. It was something I saw, so it would have been after the date that it came out for me. So I'm probably junior, senior in high school by the time I see this movie, but I remember liking it a lot. It obviously is reminiscent for me of movies like Goonies, where it's about a group of friends who go on adventures, Cody.
That's like saying Stand By Me and the Goonies are the same movie.
No, that's not like it's at all. But you have to agree that Goonies has a lot more in common with Sandlot than Stand By Me.
A group of friends actually going on adventures.
Yes, that's what I said.
No, for Stand By Me.
No, Stand By Me's got much deeper things to say.
They're going on adventures.
Just admit that you're wrong and I'm right. Well, Paul, let's do you first. We'll save Cody since we know this movie's special to him. Paul, where does Sandlot hit you?
I was, I think, 9 when this movie came out. I don't think I saw it in theaters either. I think I saw it in home video. This movie, I liked it well enough. It hit really hard to my next up brother, who would have been 12.
Yeah. You weren't a sporty kid, were you?
I did Little League, basketball, baseball, but
you know
no.
what I mean.
No.
It didn't rule your mind.
No, it didn't. But he was on a baseball team, and like his team, they started calling each other by the nicknames of the people on the. I think my brother was Bertram, but his best friend was Smalls. So
Yeah.
So
Who was the great Hambino?
I don't know if anybody took that one.
I would have taken it.
But you know, I when looking back at it now, I kind of expected I would like it less than I do, but I actually really enjoyed watching it last night. It's a good movie.
Yeah. It's a fun diversion.
I have a theory. It feels like a lot of this is similar, or at least a take on A Christmas Story to me.
I can see that with the narrator, the flashback.
The flashbacks, even kind of a little bit of the relationship with the dad, although there's some things about that are different too. But yeah. Also, it's odd to me it's set in the 60s. I mean, the authors, a lot of times nostalgia goes about 15, 20 years. For the authors, or at least for the co-director, co-writer, that would have been the 70s when he was doing Little League. But
yeah.
Cody,
where does this movie hit you? Is this one of your favorite movies of all time?
It is definitely it makes the short list of all-time great rewatchable movies. So I said that it was the Citizen Kane of the early 90s, but yet it definitely isn't, because Citizen Kane, you watch it once, you know it. The surprise, the nostalgia is ruined. This is one you could watch year after year. Sometimes as a child, it was week after week just because it's on TV all the time. And so, like, it was one that my parents would stop and watch because they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think with it also being taking place in the 60s, when I'd go over to my grandparents' house, they would stop and watch it. So it covered multiple generations. And so it was a familiar family movie for me.
When I was younger, obviously, this movie, The Goonies, movies like that about kids who are just out having these adventures, doing whatever they do. Obviously, back then, the movie was more about, being a kid and having these friends, these lifelong childhood friends. Now, when I watch these movies, the nostalgia is more of this era of unsupervised childhood. You know?
Yeah, I mean, his mother literally tells him, I want you outside.
Yeah, go outside, get into trouble. Not too much trouble.
You have my permission.
That is literally verbatim a speech that many of us got, I imagine, when we were children, especially growing up in the 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like my mom gave me that speech at some point.
My mom just told me, get out of the house.
Get out of the house! I don't want to see you!
And quit running in and out. We're not cooling off the neighborhood.
All right. Some behind the scenes things you might not have known. The chewing tobacco scene.
I was hoping that you would cover this.
In the carnival scene where the boys chew tobacco to be like the big leaguers, quote unquote, and then get sick on the rides and they're vomiting. My 13-year-old daughter covered her eyes.
I'm with you.
They weren't actually chewing tobacco.
What?
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. But the prop they used was a kid-friendly mix of black licorice and bacon bits, which sounds like the puke was real. Because if you made me eat that, I'd be like, ew. First of all, hate black licorice. Second of all, bacon bits? Come on, man.
Gotta make it a little chunky.
Yeah. The director told Squints for the famous pool scene where Squints fakes drowning to get mouth to mouth from lifeguard and crush Wendy Peppercorn. Director David Mickey Evans had exactly one instruction for 12-year-old Chauncey Leopardi, who played Squints. Quote, keep your tongue in your mouth. As it turns out, Cody, the whole cast of preteen boys had a crush on Marley Shelton, who played Wendy in real life. And they had plans.
I will say, it's a good thing that this did not take place like post the year 2000 because it's no longer mouth to mouth. It's just chest compressions.
Just chest compressions, yeah. We didn't know what we were doing back then with the CPR. James Earl Jones. He was only on set for one day. One day of filming. The kids all lost their minds because he was, of course, to them, Darth Vader. And Star Wars was huge, obviously, for kids.
Wasn't Mufasa yet.
And he was the voice. Here was the voice of Darth Vader playing Mr. Myrtle. For what it's worth, all the kids who are now adults say that James Earl Jones was incredibly kind and gracious to them as children. And obviously, you hear lots of stories about that. Like James Earl Jones, I wish I could have met him. He sounds awesome. The pool water in the pool scene, 56 degrees. The chattering you see by the kids is very real. The pool was freezing, so there's that. The Beast was a puppet in much of the movie leading up. Now, I actually think this is genius. Hercules, the giant English Mastiff, was played in part by a puppet that took two people to operate through most of the movie. And then at the end, you get like the real dog. And my son, who watched the movie with me last night, he's 7. Like at the beginning, he's like, oh, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then at the end, I had to explain to him, he's like, why is the dog small? He's like, because you have to understand you're seeing what they're imagining, what the kids are imagining.
Yes.
And to them, before they see the real him, it's this monster that only is real inside their heads. And he pretended to understand it. I don't know if he did or did not. Side note, there are 2 S-bombs dropped in this movie that I had to explain to my 7-year-old. Yeah, you can't say it. He turned to me, he's like, what did they say? I was like, that's a bad word. You can't say that. But it made me think, this is how curse words should be used in movies that are more family oriented. because for my money, those curse words are used for effect at a time in the movie and the story when you might be driven to that reaction.
Yep.
They are both used for reactions by the kids in a moment of either stunned terror or, oh, he's in big trouble.
Yep.
Just a side note that I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, cursing? Not for me.
I was like, whoa, sailor.
I think my mother was put off by some of the insults.
They were
You play ball like a girl.
fantastic insults. That wasn't even a good one.
I know.
That's a lazy insult.
But that was the one that was the most devastating.
Of course. Yeah, they were little boys. That's,
Yes.
In
that
the
was
60s.
devastating, especially in the 60s, I'm sure. Not like crap licking puss face or whatever. All right, they got the dog to lick Small's face at the end by putting baby food, smearing it on his face. That's how they got that to happen. They filmed in Salt Lake City, Utah, in temperatures reaching up to 110 degrees. Tom Geary got overheated one day and apparently actually passed out on a cameraman.
Child labor laws. Come on.
Okay, well, it's funny you mentioned that. They notoriously only filmed 8 hours a day to not press these child labor laws because films can film long hours. Patrick Renna has talked about this, the guy who played Ham. It's left the boys 14 hours-ish in the day to, quote, raise hell in this. They all were housed in the same apartment building. So he said they spent the summer swimming, running around, playing Nintendo in their dressing rooms, which was newish back then. They snuck in to see Basic Instinct. And they've pretty much all called it the greatest summer of their lives, which mirrors the movie. Like the camaraderie the boys have in the movie turns out to be pretty real, as they are still doing things together to this day. As I said, the movie was not a hit with critics. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel reviewed it. It got middling reviews, but its reputation as a beloved classic was built almost entirely through home video, cable reruns like WTBS TNT, and word of mouth. Very similar to a lot of the movies we've covered, like Labyrinth or What About Bob?
These critics.
Yeah. Yeah. What does it say when a lot of the most beloved movies from the 80s were not critical darlings? What should that say to current moviegoers? Like, don't listen to the critics as much. Just go see movies you think you might be interested in.
I wish.
Yeah. And then try to enjoy them. Although, seems like we're going in the opposite direction. We
Yeah.
just want to hate movies before we see them now.
Hate, hate, hate.
One of my favorite things about this movie is the narration at the end that tells you where all the boys went, what happened to all the boys. And I think that's good. But
That's the thing that reminds me of Stand By Me.
I'm going to start that as a lead off into the What Holds Up section, and I'll just go first.
Okay.
Because it's a small one. I love the What Holds Up at the end. This reminds, or the narration at the end of what happens to the boys. And that some of them maybe are kind of sad. Like the one kid who gets really into the 60s and they never see him again.
Bertram?
Bertram, yeah. I love that. I love that there was something about 80s movies, which I know this isn't an 80s movie, but it's still very much in that classification, that file.
As an 80s kid, I can see why you see that.
Yeah, see, you get it.
I
You
do.
understand. There is, like, look, I make fun of that a lot. But there is this 80s thing where we will be inclusive of what we include in our 80s feel and era, because 80s wasn't a time, man. It was a feeling.
Yeah.
You get me? It was rad. It's short for radical.
As
There was a BMX movie about it.
I was going to say, as a skater / BMXer, I feel you.
All right. What holds up? Paul, we'll let you go first.
I think the scene that's really magic for me in this is it's kind of two scenes. It's right after each other. It's when the rival team comes to their field and they have the insults back and forth. That's great. But my favorite thing in the entire movie is the scene right after that when you just see the succession of batters come up to the plate and Ham just roasts each and every one of them. And it's cut like a Parks and Recs cutaway gag where they keep doing a quick cut to another joke, quick cut to another joke, another line. And I looked up, some of that's got to be improv. And yeah, it was the director would yell lines to him, but I think Renna came up with some lines himself.
I honestly thought when I saw this movie that that's just what catchers did on all levels. I assumed in the major leagues that professional catchers were telling batters that if their dog looked like them, they'd shave their butt and make them walk backwards.
Mike Piazza definitely did that.
Mike Piazza. Nice. Ivan Rodriguez.
Yes. Pudge, as the kids call him.
Yeah. That's such a great scene, man. Even the music, which is Green Onions by Booker T.
Yes.
And the MGs, I think is the full name of that group. And the fact that they're like the preppy kids. Like I know sometimes the younger generations now don't understand this. Maybe they're getting more to it now that we're like all, Occupy Wall Street and we're the 99%. But the idea of the rich kids rolling in with their pretty uniforms and saying insulting them by they don't even play on a real field. Yeah, that was great. That scene's gold. Cody, what holds up?
I am going to say Ray Charles, America the Beautiful, still holds up.
Oh, so great, man.
And it is the perfect backdrop for them playing underneath the fireworks.
Everything about that scene is nostalgia gold, and it's everything I wanted, because I don't know that it's necessarily indicative of the way everybody grew up in that time period, because that block, even the block party they're running through to get to go play on the field.
I will say that if the whole movie was like this, it would be the most iconic 4th of July movie. But since the whole movie does not take place on the 4th of July, I can't just say this is the best 4th of July movie ever.
Yeah, it takes place over the whole summer. But boy,
Yes.
if it was a 4th of July movie where it was just all the events happen on one day, you'd have to mess with the narrative order.
You would.
But, yeah, that would be great. That would be incredible. All that being said, though, what holds up on this rotation here is going to be that the nostalgia is good, man. It's good because it's genuine. I think the movie captures this feeling of the way summer felt in your childhood, like that it was just going to be endless. You were just going to go on for days, and you didn't know what you were going to do until you went outside and found your friends. And I love that there's no real plot here. It's just a series of episodes almost. In fact, in today's world, this would have made a great TV series by some adventure taking up the plot of most every episode. But just saying, if anybody wants to redo The Sandlot ever, do it as a TV series.
Please don't.
Destroy Cody's childhood. Paul, what else holds up?
I'm going to say the ensemble of child actors. They just really got a good group together, and they took the time to build up the camaraderie. So I know for many people my generation and around my generation, there's kind of a parasocial aspect to these are kind of our friends, but they're obviously their friends in the thing. It really, for the nostalgia aspect, it really does feel like, kicking around with your friends over the summer, whether you were a 60s, a 70s, an 80s, or a 90s kid. It's hard to do that, especially necessarily with just a random group of 9 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, the camaraderie, as we already said, was real because they were all, just hanging out together, working 8 hours a day filming and then just like terrorizing the neighborhood apparently. And they still do stuff together now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Except for Mike Vitar is clearly not a part of this group. They're doing Dugout Dads, which is sort of a pseudo sequel. They're filming it now with the whole group minus Mike Vitar. But they added Patanga. Isn't that her name?
Topanga?
Topanga, not Patanga.
I'm like, I don't know who you are talking
Hey, listen,
about,
I'm not a
buddy.
millennial, okay? I didn't watch Boy Meets World.
That was a mistake on your part.
Yeah, so they've got potato in it and Topanga. But Mike Vitar is not a part of the group. Now, I had to look this up because I wanted to know, is there bad blood? I wanted to know what happened with Mike Vitar. So a lot of these kids, or a few of these kids, go on to more work. Patrick Renna is very recognizable. Probably Son-in-Law is the movie a lot of people remember him from, other than this one.
I remember his X-Files episode.
Yo,
That's what the kids remember.
I'm
David.
sure. But Patrick Renna's in some things. Mike Vitar and Brandon Quinton Adams both are in the Mighty Ducks series,
Mighty Ducks.
which works well because, you know, it's an easy translation of, kids sports movies, right? And so they were both in there.
I totally thought he was the same kid from Rookie of the Year, Mike Vitar.
Oh,
but
Mike
he's not.
Vitar? Yeah, no,
Nope.
different. They were different. But yeah, so he acts. Like I said, he's in Mighty Ducks. He's in an episode of NYPD Blue in '96, an episode of Chicago Hope in '97, and then he appears in a flashback scene in The Sandlot 2 in 2005. But he stops acting. He quits acting to go to college and become an EMT, and then eventually he's worked in the fire department in Los Angeles ever since.
He's a hero.
Well, he does get himself into trouble. Back in 2015 on Halloween, Vitar and two other firefighters confronted a 22-year-old Samuel Chang who was handing out candy in their neighborhood to trick-or-treaters. They wrongly accused him of handing out drug-laced candy. I'm not sure how that happens, but then they chased him. They caught him, pinned him to the ground, and as it happens when you pin someone to the ground, one of the guys got him in some sort of chokehold, and he fell unconscious. And eventually, they performed CPR on him until the paramedics arrived. But there was a trial, and he actually gets convicted of felony assault. Vitar does. Now, he pleaded no contest to a reduced charge and was suspended without pay for 6 months from the fire department, but he is back. He seemingly living life and moving on from that. But there is a spot on his Wikipedia page that doesn't say hero.
Well, we all have spots, David.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Patrick Renna says there's not a divide between him and the rest of the cast. He said that he remains supportive, keeps in touch with all the guys. He just doesn't do the acting anymore at all. He's not into it. And so, yeah, but he's still in touch with them and they're still friends. I know somebody out there just needed that information.
I did not. What else is good, though, is this movie kick rocks, Anchorman, because this movie is super quotable, you L7 weenies.
I don't know why that was necessary.
Because I'm quoting the movie. Pickle!
Kids a square. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, I would say that line has transcended to pop culture where people will say you're killing me, Smalls, even if they don't necessarily know the movie.
Yeah, they don't understand the reference.
Yeah.
It's just so in our vernacular that people just say, you don't say you're killing me without saying you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the you're out of your element. Like, I've heard people
You're out of your element, Donnie.
say that, and then they're like, oh, I love that movie. And they're like, what movie's that from? And I'm like, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me. But no, this movie's so quotable. And especially if you're a millennial type person or younger Gen X, that like it is definitely within your vernacular. And there are lines that have transcended into most everyone's vernacular within our corner of the globe. So
Yeah. What else is good is the Babe Ruth dream sequence. Babe Ruth, played by character actor, what was his name? Art LaFleur. Art LaFleur, who also appears in Field of Dreams as one of the baseball players who tells the kid, hey kid, don't wink. So he's just this character actor that shows up. I love the Babe Ruth dream sequence of Benny the Jet being visited by the ghost of Babe Ruth, who tells him, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. And my 7-year-old was repeating that for the rest of the movie last night as we were watching it.
As he should.
And that's exactly right. Yes. That's what I wanted my 7-year-old to get out of this movie. Perfect. Love it.
I really like the effect on Babe Ruth when he enters, which looks like the entire room is normal, but he looks like he's off of a grainy black and white broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
do
right
it-
off an old baseball card, isn't he?
They do it when he enters and when he leaves, which, fair's fair. It's a small budget movie. But for some reason, I also found it amusing. He leaves to what is clearly a closet.
That's where he enters. That's where he has to leave.
It's where he lives.
Yeah.
With the rest of the Fraggles.
Yep.
Cody, what else holds up for you?
The whole movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie, David. It's just great top to bottom.
What is it, though? What is it about the movie? Because, listen, I understand what those critics saw. I can watch this movie and go like, look, technically speaking, this is not great.
Whoa!
But it is great, and I want to know what makes it great.
I think that you get a good representation of what childhood looks like. That there's a group of people who all have different backgrounds. Smalls is being raised by a stepdad that he doesn't know how to interact with. A mom who is trying to get him to get out of the house and develop friends, and he just moved. And then you have the guy that's just naturally great at sports, and Benny the Jet Rodriguez. And then you have another kid, De Nunez, who is really, really good, but can't be the best. That he just tries and only makes it to AAA.
Yeah. It's really indicative of a lot of our friend groups.
Yes.
The way they were kind of set up.
And then you have the kid that just repeats whatever
His older brother says. Yeah.
Yep. And then
Tommy and Timmy.
you just have like these characters that they just make up a good friend group, and you connect with your childhood. Like, oh, this person was definitely Squints, and this person was definitely yeah. And like, oh, you have these moments where you make life a lot harder instead of just knocking on the door and asking for the ball back.
Yeah.
And like, it's super fun having those moments, but in the moment it's like, whoa, this is chaotic.
I love there. By the way, there's a perfect moment in this film that's very small, but it's just perfect. So I want to mention it. You mentioned Tommy Timmons, who repeats everything his older brother Timmy says, does it the entire movie, and Timmy, the older brother, never says anything. And then finally at the end, he's like, "Shut up, Tommy." That's so real and so perfect that he's just lets him do it for most of the movie. And then finally in the moment, in the chaotic moment, when he's frustrated enough, it's like, "Shut up, Tommy." I thought that was perfect. Just a perfect moment. For me, this movie, really, the legacy of this movie is it fits into a genre we don't talk about a lot, but it's baseball movie as real life, where baseball feels like it's literally called the Sandlot, the place where they play the game, and makes you think, oh, this movie's all about baseball, but it's not about baseball at all. It's actually about real life. And in this case, it's about friendship and belonging. When I first saw this movie, Cody, it hit all the right buttons for me because as a child of a broken home and a child who dealt with step families and stepfathers who I had a rough relationship with, like that really hit home. I understood immediately Scotty Smalls' situation of why he would not follow up the ask where he was like, yeah, I'll teach you how to play catch. Why he wouldn't immediately follow up that with win. Because you're like, oh, he said yes. Okay, good. All right. See you later.
Good talk, buddy.
And I love that Denis Leary, there's something about them getting to Denis Leary to play that stepdad, which Denis Leary, you have to know what he was known for at the time, which is this very rough, rude kind of comedy where it was all based on like insults. He was an insult comedian, sort of Don Rickles-ish in a way, but even more so where he was anti-establishment. he was constantly railing on anything establishment, anything like most people, quote unquote, would believe.
Yeah. So I feel like Bill Burr is a watered down version.
Yeah. Well, Bill Burr, also from Boston. He had a very Boston quality, grumpy Boston guy quality.
Yes.
And I think the genius of casting him in this role is many of us saw Denis Leary and thought Denis Leary, and yet he plays this kind of clean-cut, quiet stepdad. But to Scotty, there's mystery which can be scary underneath. So the people watching this who knew who Denis Leary is, there's like, oh, is he going to blow up on him? There's always this what's the word I'm looking for? Trepidation. There's this hesitation of like, oh, I don't want to push him too far, you know? And I thought that was perfect. It's the rare perfect casting where you're using his real life character and not so much what he can do as an actor.
He was carrying this movie.
He was not. They ask very little of him. He is very deadpan. He's supposed to just be like that 60s working man guy.
He's going to show up in another of my lists.
Who doesn't show emotions, by the way, which is so 60s guy.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. And so I just loved everything about baseball movie that's not really about baseball. And then, of course, Scotty Smalls, just identify with him on everything. Even the part where you're moving around a lot, you're always the new kid. It's hard to make friends. You're an only child. Like, it all works against you in that world. And I thought they showed that without having to dwell on it a lot, which is good. All right, Paul, what doesn't hold up in The Sandlot?
The Denis Leary performance.
Oh, you son of a... What? What is wrong with Denis Leary?
It's not necessarily Denis Leary. You know, there's direction, there's writing, there's him. I don't understand why you're even casting him.
I mean, Karen Allen is right there. We're not going to bust on
because there's my irritation with him is not really with Denis Leary as an actor. It's just there's nothing there.
Yeah, I don't think there's supposed to be. He's a 60s guy.
But it's boring.
I know.
He's a
That's the point.
No, it's not. Make him be something. Make him be upset that his kid can't do a catch and he's a big baseball player, or make him happy that he caught the catch even though he got his eye almost knocked out.
He's happy at the end.
I was going to say he looks irritated as he's playing catch, and the kid's like, "I'm going to walk this over to you or throw it at your feet." Like, what are you doing? That's what I got from it.
Let Paul
it's
continue.
such a tiny thing considering how big this movie goes. I mean, there's just so much you could do with that. I mean, he could be any kind of dad. It's just you get nothing from him. And I don't, Smalls inflates the danger he's in so much about the baseball that and I understand.
Well, it's not totally Smalls. Everybody tells him, you're in big trouble. Benny the Jet says it's worth more than your life.
But can you imagine that the father, as presented in this movie, would even show any signs of anger?
Yes.
I
can't.
Especially when he's like, slap some meat on it, kid.
I think you guys are coloring this with your impressions of Denis Leary. I don't think it's in the movie.
I'm not. I'm actually coloring it with impressions of like real life stuff where, to me, it plays perfectly because, okay, you just have to know. Like, this is one of those areas where if you've never been the kid in a situation where your parent got remarried and the spouse was one way before they got married and then was completely another way after they got married. Like, there's something to that dual nature where on the outside, he looks very milk and white bread. He's just very boring. But internally, there's something you're afraid of, which Scotty is definitely afraid of pushing any issue with him. I don't know. For me, it works, but I understand that I'm reading a lot of my own personal experience
so
into it.
I will say, as a kid, I definitely didn't know Denis Leary until his firefighter show.
You might have been too young,
But I will say, I grew up hearing that the older generation would say, kids should be seen and not heard and rarely seen. So, like, I know.
So that's why we turned out the way we turned out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he did enough facial acting of, like, you can tell he's frustrated with Smalls.
Yeah.
That-
I'm not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
that he there could be a side where he snaps, and also corporal punishment is definitely a thing in the 60s.
Oh,
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like they didn't show it, I just assume it's there.
It's another thing of this movie that it feels like they watched A Christmas Story and did it slightly worse.
Okay. I think that might be a fair take because I'm actually allowing the possibility of that might have happened because of the nature of this being one dude who wrote, directed, and all this. But I wonder how much the studio comes in and says, "Hey, there's this kind of popular movie that didn't make a ton at the box office, but making a ton now on cable rights and all that." And Cody, I know, is not a fan of The Christmas Story, but it hits all the same buttons.
Yeah.
The story is told in a similar fashion.
It pushes all the wrong buttons. It's so bad.
I don't know why you hate Joy, Cody. What doesn't hold up, Cody?
So, like, if I squint my eyes a little bit and dig through all these diamonds, I guess with my modern lens, it would be the pool scene.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this movie,
I don't know why you're listening.
but they do. People do. There's people listen without having watched some of this stuff.
Heart you, listener.
The kid squints, fakes drowning at the pool so that the teenage lifeguard that they all have a crush on has to give him mouth to mouth. It's played for laughs. It is genuinely funny because all the kids really think he's dying. And then he, like, when she goes from mouth to mouth back to compressions or to listen to see if he's breathing, he gets this giant smile on his face, and they are all like, "What?" And I think it's one of the scenes that's perfectly done as far as camera work and how they're setting it up. But he essentially kisses her without consent while she's trying to save his life. And in 1993, it's played as this triumphant, he got the girl in this very courageous, crazy idea he had.
He's been planning it for years.
In 2000, that just says, the premeditation. In 2026, it comes off a little bit a different way. And then the epilogue of the story rewards him as they're married with 9 kids. And frankly, it's worth discussing.
Own the drugstore.
Yeah. So it's worth discussing. Yeah. Cody, does this give you the weird feels now?
It doesn't.
No? Why?
I think it's because I know the era that it takes place in, and it does not have the sensibilities of the era I am currently living in. And even in the 90s, this movie felt older.
Yes. Yeah.
With it taking place in the 60s. So, like, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I think sometimes what young people do not understand today, young adults don't understand today, is that when they see something in context from the past, they try to put our context of what we consider to be right, wrong, blurring the lines, whatever, wherever it is on the scale, you try to put that on these people who did these things in the past. And you have to think, like, no, none of these people would have thought anything was wrong with it. Even the character of Wendy Peppercorn, who once she gets over her anger a couple minutes later is quietly smiling and waving at Squints.
Yep.
She obviously has affection for him, and that matters. Yes, we would consider it over a certain line today. But back then, you have to understand everybody who's involved in that incident, the context is different for them.
Very.
I think there's a positive aspect to it too, in that it kind of shows you what happens when you don't teach people about consent.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing I didn't bump on it at all, just because these are a bunch of right around the time of going to puberty young boys. They don't know how to deal with their feelings.
Yeah, well, and it plays realistically because for a bunch of boys growing up in the 60s, these are a bunch of our dads.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. And a lot of my generation's dads were chauvinistic. They grew up to be kind of chauvinistic. Not all dads, but there was a larger instance of it. And when we hear it from the older generation, especially when it's our dads, we don't immediately think, oh, evil person. We think it's just they grew up at a different time, man. For me, something that doesn't quite hold up is this movie is aggressively nostalgic, but the characters of Kenny de Nunez and then James Earl Jones's character, and they do mention through James Earl Jones's character, you get a little bit of this, but I think it's worth pointing out that for a lot of these boys in this movie, the movie 1962 is a very specific, dreamy time for them.
Yes.
And we don't get any of the perspective of, was it that way for Kenny? Was it that way for Mr. Myrtle?
Kenny is wearing a KC Monarchs,
which
hat.
is a Negro League baseball team.
So,
yeah.
like that part, not historically accurate, most likely, unless the Valley was just very ahead of its time.
I'm wondering how he got a hold of that hat.
Yeah, maybe they moved from Kansas City.
But yeah, it's worth mentioning that there are people who might watch this movie and not get that same nostalgic feeling and wonder what Kenny is doing in this movie, hanging out with those kids, and what his story specifically feels like to him.
Yeah,
because it's clearly not told from his point of view.
No, it is definitely small centric. Benny the Jet gets probably second most, and then Ham Porter, just being Ham Porter, you get more insight than everyone else is kind of an afterthought.
Now, the caveat to that is some younger generation people might watch that and listen to me say that and say, see, the movie is racist or whatever. Even the kids might have been racist, and they're like, no, they're not. The kids don't treat Kenny any different because he's not to them.
Yes.
And this is more of a poor neighborhood, rich neighborhood thing too, where in a poor neighborhood, you didn't really deal with a lot of racial stuff because you were more loyal to each other as friends. Yes. There's a loyalty that comes out of those neighborhoods that other neighborhoods can't touch. And so they wouldn't have even thought about things like that as children, as much as you do now. I think kids now have to deal with it more than kids back then did, which is weird because the 60s were obviously a time period. Yeah, civil rights movements going on. And so all that would have been going on. But I just don't think kids in general, especially in those neighborhoods, that was on the top of their list of awareness of things that they were aware of. Anyways, yeah. Anything else that doesn't hold up?
There's only one acting moment with the kids that was off for me. I was kind of expecting there to be more because child actors, going to be up and down. But when Smalls when the first ball goes over the fence to the dog and Smalls go off to it, there's a long shot on Squints when he just kind of turns his head to the side and and they all run, and they do that exact same thing like 3 more times in the movie, but for some reason it just doesn't work there for me. I'm not sure if it's the shot or the performances. I don't believe it.
I love it every time.
Yeah, I love it all the other times.
Every time. So much so that I'm going to add it to my what's good is every moment where you get a wide shot of all the kids and they're just slack-jawed.
Yeah.
With their mouths open and agape at something because I laughed every time. Every stinking time.
So the run up to Smalls to pull him off reminds me of Monty Python and the Holy Grail as they're charging the castle, and it's like they're really far away, they're still really far away, they're finally getting closer, oh, they're far away, and then boom, they're there. And that's what it felt like.
I actually had one more thing I really liked that I didn't get on the list too, which was all the attempts with gadgets to get the ball from the dog, like the Tinker Toys and the thing. I loved all that.
Yeah,
I love
Toys
Richie
are
Rich
awesome.
too.
There's an insult in particular that again doesn't play well to these times, but back then it wouldn't have been, you would have understood completely why it was insulting to the kids. But the "you play ball like a girl" as the ultimate insult. I I will say that while also noting my 13-year-old daughter genuinely laughed at it, especially their reaction afterward. And I think that's a good lesson for us sometimes when watching older things is to my daughter laughed because she understood the context and their reaction to it.
That's a sign of the changing times. I remember in the 90s, I saw a poster for Xena Warrior Princess, which said, "You fight like a girl will always be a sign of respect."
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And the trick is understanding that those characters weren't being portrayed as moral authorities. They're being portrayed as dumb kids. So, yeah, you understand. Okay, let's Muppetize the movie.
Oh, I got this.
All right. You want to go first then, Cody?
Oh,
go ahead and
betcha.
Muppetize this thing.
Okay, so we're keeping Denis Leary.
Yeah! What do you think about that, Paul?
Give him more to do.
I went with the manliest Muppet, Walter, to be Smalls.
Okay.
Just because he then transfers into adult Smalls in the booth. Mm-hmm. And so it works for me. Benny the Jet Rodriguez is Kermit. And when he's adult, Kermit puts on the Moose Nash. Fozzie is going to be my Ham Porter. Miss Piggy will be the mom. Janice is going to be Wendy Peppercorn. Gonzo is definitely Squints. Bertram is Brunson Honeydew. Timmy and Tommy are Statler and Waldorf. Yeah will be Rizzo. De Nunez is going to be Rolf because he's very laid back. Hercules will be played by Sweetums. And James Earl Jones' character will be Sam the Eagle.
Nice.
I Muppetized the whole movie.
Yeah. It's a movie that would work very well with Muppets, I think.
And Denis Leary being frustrated with Muppets and then being like, I'm leaving.
Paul, did you Muppetize?
I'm just doing two. I've got Beaker as Smalls.
Beaker Smalls, yeah.
I don't think he needs to speak. I think,
yeah, really,
or at least everybody can get what they can understand him. It's just
you can infer out of tone with the memes on everything Smalls says.
And then Hercules. I mean, for me, there's only one choice. It's Animal.
What if you kept Karen Allen's character? Could you do that, or could you keep Smalls or Benny the Jet?
I nearly kept. So the three characters I entertained was Bill, Benny the Jet, and then James Earl Jones.
I think there's something to be said for Benny the Jet. I think you could have kept Benny the Jet, Mike Vitar.
Yeah, everyone is in awe of his talent. And then he's the only one that can actually play baseball because he's the only real human.
That's great.
It'd be like Muppet. It's kind of like Muppet Space Jam at that point.
All right. Pastor's Corner. Deeper themes. Obviously, there is a very deep theme here of being the new kid and belonging. Small shows up not knowing anyone, not knowing how to play baseball at all. He doesn't even have a real glove or a real hat. He's wearing khaki shorts that wouldn't be popular for another 30, 40 years. And Benny, who's the best player, yes, but he's also the coolest kid.
Yes, he is.
Everyone respects him. He's the one who has every reason to exclude Scotty, but instead chooses to bring him in. And it's not just tolerating him because they needed that ninth guy. He advocates for him. He teaches him. He defends him when the other boys don't want him in there. And I think there's a whole thing running through this movie of like inclusion just for inclusion's sake. To say like, no, man, you're breathing and your heart's beating, you're human, you're in. Come on. We'll make you part of our group. And I think that's the part of the movie that holds up the best for me, especially in this day and age where we're largely tribal and exclusive in our culture right now. And here's a story about kids who, like, look, you can still learn a lot from kids. I imagine that if I was around kids today, which I am, they could teach me a lot of things, which they do. And I think the lesson here is just the inclusion for inclusion's sake. And look what happens when you adopt him into the group, sight unseen. Even though he's not a good baseball player, by the end of the movie, he can play. He can play ball. And I think that's an awesome lesson.
And you get to meet someone that played with George.
You got it. Sometimes you throw out these references and I'm clueless. So what are you referring to?
Herman.
Babe Ruth.
Ruth.
Okay.
Yeah.
My goodness. Pick up what I'm putting down.
I can't. Sometimes I can't pick up what you're putting down.
With this movie also, it does play a huge role of saying like cognitive distortions. We make things a lot bigger than they actually are.
Yeah.
And if we would get out of our own head, we can find the easier way to solve this problem. And that what we thought was a big problem was actually just a nice friendly dog.
Yeah, I had to explain it to my 7-year-old why when the neighbor, Mr. Myrtle, says, well, you should have just knocked on my door and asked me. I'd have given you the ball. I got the ball for you. And they all start beating up on Squints, who told the elaborate fake story.
Such a good story.
But yeah, that's still one of the genius parts of the movie is the beast, as monster, and seeing it that way for the first 3/4 of the movie, seeing it the way that they're imagining it instead of the obvious, it's a dog who's clearly just trying to play with the balls.
Yeah.
And you like the end scene is great for that because Benny goes over the fence. They play the Western music,
Yeah.
and they're like it's a standoff, and the dog drops the ball and rolls it towards, and you can tell it's just the dog waiting to play. And for Benny, this is a life or death situation, and I think that's perfect because as a kid, I can actually remember doing things like that. I can remember imagining the scenario I'm imagining takes precedence over the reality I'm living. And that's a great point. It's good stuff. All right, Paul, who's your winner of the movie?
Sherry Rhodes, the casting director.
Oh, okay. You're going technical, real world here. You
I
think
mean,
she puts down?
It's hard to put that group of kids together.
Yeah, how does that work? I've often wondered because I need a documentary on how this movie gets put together and how a casting director puts a group of kids together. Because are any of these kids recognizable when they cast for this movie? I don't think so.
Not even the star,
Mike Vitar or Patrick Renna. I think this is the first time we see them. So yeah, that's a good pick. Cody, who's your winner of the movie?
It is Denis Leary.
Oh?
Here's why. And you can thank last week's winner, John Leguizamo, for pointing this out. I think because of this movie, he gets Ice Age. And Ice Age paid for John Leguizamo's second and third homes. Denis Leary is making bank off the Ice Age franchise that just won't ever go away. And like before this, would you have cast him in anything with kids? No,
not at all.
After this, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense to cast Boston rude heckler guy in Ice Age.
Yeah. My winner of the movie is Patrick Renna.
He would be the one for the kids.
He was my runner-up.
He's the most quotable character. He's arguably one of the guys who gets the biggest career for a few years. He's in Son-in-Law. He's in some other things, TV shows. Mike Vitar is probably the other guy who gets a longer run out of this. Kenny is in, the guy who plays Kenny ends up in the Mighty Ducks movies, maybe a couple TV appearances, but not much really after that. But you have to factor in where Patrick Renna is now in the world of social media. He has 1.2 million followers on Instagram. He is almost a must follow on social media. He does hilarious videos and reels, and he's very creative. He's just seems like just a very fun, imaginative person. And he's kind of, that social media presence is probably largely why the Dugout Dads thing got greenlit.
Also, really has not changed a lot in appearance.
No.
Yeah.
He looks like Cam Porter.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
He really is my favorite thing in the movie. One scene we didn't talk about is just his bits at the pool when he's got his gut sucked in and he's walking by the, hey, ladies.
My 7-year-old boy was physically disgusted by that scene. Why isn't he wearing a shirt? It's like, dude, you walk around this entire neighborhood without a shirt. What are you talking about? But I can't see myself. Yeah, that scene is gold.
Yeah.
Who's your loser of the movie, Paul?
Denis Leary.
We are torn on the subject of Denis Leary.
Yes.
We are torn on the subject of Denis Leary because I can totally see Cody's point of this might be the pivot or the gateway for him where he does change his entire image, because for people old as I am, he's like the nasty talking anti-establishment comedian guy who's largely a part of MTV's kind of persona. He's the MTV spokesman for a while.
A more serious answer might be Patrick Renna, just because I feel like he should have had a better career. In that I feel like he's good enough in this, and honestly, to a slightly lesser extent in The Big Green, that I feel like it just didn't work out for him. You know, he got to work, so that's great. That's better.
But why isn't he working now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've thought that over the years too. And then, I know they're filming this thing now largely, again, because I think of his social media presence and nostalgia for the Sandlot. But I honestly think he gets hurt by genres that disappear. For instance, when I look at Patrick Renna now, I think, if rom-coms were still a thing, which they largely aren't, at least not in the way we remember them.
He'd be a great friend.
He's the friend. Yes, absolutely. He's the male protagonist's friend. Perfect for that role. But yeah, that's a genre that is largely not in right now. And so maybe it just doesn't line up well for him. Cody, who's your loser of the movie?
Sandlot 2.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
You made a sequel to a movie that just needed to be a one-off.
Yeah.
And anyone that was in the Sandlot 2, unfortunately, you have to be compared to the Sandlot 1. So,
yeah.
Yeah. The movies, when the movie's over on streaming and the other selections pop up, and Sandlot 2 was one of them, and my 7-year-old was like, "Oh, there's a Sandlot 2. Can we watch that, Dad?" No. No, you don't need to watch that. Why not? Because it's not good. You won't miss anything.
You're welcome.
You will not remember the existence.
Loser of the movie, Scotty Small's hat. Why didn't that thing get thrown away?
Scotty
Or
didn't know.
burnt.
Why didn't he get burnt? Benny told him to throw it in the fireplace. Why didn't he do it? He's got that hat on at the end, doing Dodgers games as the voice of the stadium. What are we doing?
Not good.
Yeah. I get physically angry when he puts that hat back on. All right. How many s'mores out of 10, Paul?
I don't like this as much as you guys do, but I still liked it quite a bit. I think I'm landing 6.5.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit lower than I thought.
Since this movie created and invented s'mores, I am going to go with, on my 90s child scale,
Well, on that scale.
9.9.
9.9. Okay. All right. That's higher than I would go. I'm going to go 8.5. It's an 8.5 for me. And that's mostly nostalgia. Because if I'm just a moviegoer and I'm watching this as a movie, I'm like, there are obvious flaws. But it's out of just enjoyability alone, it's an 8.5 for me.
I miss carnivals now, watching that last night.
Yeah.
There are just a lot of aspects of it that I remember in some ways. Like, I played a lot of Little League. I remember the kid that threw like Smalls does at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. All right. What do you guys think of The Sandlot? Is it one of your favorites? Where would you, how many s'mores out of 10 would you give it? Do you miss the tilt-a-hurl?
Yes.
Let us know in the comments for this social media post. We'll see you next week.